Photography presentation on labor migration, life on the margins in Armenia, and how we live. The book and the documentary will be shown. The speaker is Sara Anjargolian. Sara is a documentary photographer and an attorney. She focuses on visual storytelling and humanitarian projects that seek to drive the social change. She graduated sum laude from UCLA with a BA in political science and public policy, and then went on to law school at UC Berkeley, UC Berkeley's Boat Hall, graduating in 2000 with a Juris Doctor degree. After admissions to the California Bar, Sara joined the Justice Department in Washington, D.C., where she served as a trial lawyer in 2002. Sara, for 2.5 years, traveled extensively throughout Armenia and photographed the country and the people. Sara also served as associate professor and assistant dean at the American University of Armenia, the law department, where she focused on the changing role of women in post-Soviet transitional societies. Since her return to Los Angeles, Sara's photography has been featured in numerous exhibitions and presentations, and utilized in awareness and fundraising campaigns for humanitarian causes in partnership with nonprofit organizations such as the Real Medical Foundation, the International Institute of Genocide and the Human Rights, and the Armenia Fund, and also the Tufekyan Foundation. Sara is currently touring with her new book on photography, How We Live Life in the Margins in Armenia. And her book is available for purchase. They are $40 each. It's a very, very good book, so please purchase it. Sara?
Thank you so much, Mr. Panosyan, for the beautiful introduction, and thank you to the ARPA Institute and all the board members here. Thank you for inviting me this evening. My presentation has 4 parts to it. Can you hear me, by the way? Everybody's okay. No?
No, yes.
Now, yes. Okay. I'll try to stay close to the microphone. I'm going to present, my presentation has 4 parts to it. The first part will be just some general photography of Armenia. I lived in Armenia for 2.5 years, from 2002 to 2004. And I originally went there on a Fulbright scholarship that was meant only for 10 months, but I ended up staying for 2.5 years. So just to kind of orient us where we are, you know, sort of give us the mood and the feeling of the place, although I'm sure many people in this audience have been to Armenia. The second part, I will show you a project called Not Here. It's about labor migration and the faces and the stories of the people who have left Armenia and are working basically in the economy here in Los Angeles and are supporting family members back home. So what you will see are the people who have left and are now working in Los Angeles, and then we'll travel to Armenia and you will meet the people that they're supporting back home. So that's the second project I'll show. The third is the How We Live project. That's also the subject of the book. It's basically about poverty and the face of poverty in Armenia. That's the most recent project that was completed just a year ago. And I will show you images, and the fourth part is a short documentary film where you'll actually hear the people and the voices of the people in the photographs. So that's what we're going to do, and then at the end, of course, I'd be happy to take your questions and comments, and we can have a discussion. So I'm going to just jump right into it. The first, actually, can we turn the lights completely off? Is that possible? So that
if we do, the photo will not show in the video. That's the problem. Are you? Is the picture okay?
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm messing up the YouTube video we were creating tonight, but yeah, if that's okay, maybe we'll.
That's fine.
Is that okay? All right. So 12 images. I'm going to show you 12 images that seek to represent the mood of the country when I lived there, 2002 to 2004. This photograph was taken at a political protest, at a rally. At the time, it was against President Robert Kocharyan, who was running for a second term. These people have come together to listen to the gentleman who was running against Kocharyan, and it's on the steps of the Manuscript Museum, the Matenadaran in Yerevan. I like to show this image because it really kind of, it's a portrait, and sometimes when we think of portraits, we think of a single face, but this is simultaneously a portrait of a nation, sort of in one shot. And this is the time when I was still shooting film, and this was pretty much the last frame on my roll. I shot 2 images of this rally. One was horizontal, and then I kind of figured out that, you know what, this is not a horizontal image, this is very much a vertical image, so this was the last frame. This is during the Sunday Mass at Samosavank Church. It's about 20 minutes outside of Yerevan. And this is the same church, but from the outside during the winter time. This is in the southernmost part of Armenia, in Merli, with basically it's the town that's right across the border from Iran. And this lady had come to the doorstep of this church to basically look for somebody to slaughter this rooster. And she had a sick granddaughter at home, and in their sort of town's tradition, you would sacrifice this rooster for the sick child, but a stranger had to do it. And so she was kind of waiting at this church for somebody that would come along, and she would actually ask somebody to do it. And it was a young man who came along. And I remember he was really young. He was in his early 20s, and he said, you know, I've never slaughtered anything before. And she said, oh, but you really have to. And this poor young man, you know, he took a dull knife and, you know, he did the deed for her. You know, it was kind of a gruesome moment, but also just this beautiful sort of neighborly moment between two people. So this is sort of the moment as she's waiting for somebody to come along. This, I don't think, needs much explanation. We've all had this amazing, amazing bread. So these 5 boys are at the genocide memorial in Yerevan. It's called Dizerna Kapert, or Swallow's Fortress. And everybody knows that on April 24th, masses and thousands of people will basically march to this monument and lay flowers by the eternal flame. This is April 25th, the day after that I was there, and these 5 boys had dressed up in their Sunday best and were just kind of hanging out in this place. And one of the reasons I really love this image is that anybody who's been to Armenia has seen groups of men much older than this doing pretty much the same thing, hanging out, talking, telling stories. And I would love to find these boys, actually. I don't know who they are, but I would love to one day find their parents and give them this image. This is just kind of a stolen moment in the fog. So most churches in Armenia have somebody like this sitting, so oftentimes kind of in a corner, selling candles for very little money, you know, 5 cents, 10 cents. So most churches have a candle seller like her. This church is in a town called Deser, which is where Hovhannes Tumanyan, the well-known writer and poet, lived and wrote a lot of his work. And she, this is kind of has a special place in my heart, this image, because I decided to print this image in Armenia and take it back and give it to her. I had just kind of started out in photography. Again, it was film, and I was really excited about it. I thought it was really interesting. And I decided to take it back to her, and also giving people their image is a great way to start conversations, a great way to sometimes get yourself invited to their homes and kind of like get to know the sort of behind the scenes scoop. So I took this image back to the church and I gave it to her, and she said, "Oh, thank you.